They blew up my bridge at 3 a.m. and called it an improvement for community aesthetics. Yeah, you heard me. My father's bridge, gone, courtesy of some HOA with more money than sense. The night that stone and memory crashed into the lake, I could already feel it. The storm coming wasn't just about a bridge. And let me tell you, when the police showed up and those HOA lies started cracking wide open, I did what any man in my boots would do. I opened the dam and reminded them who actually owns the water around here. Stick with me. This story doesn't end the way the HOA expected. If you stand for land, truth, and a man's right to defend what's his, well, pour yourself a coffee and settle in. Jake Carter, that's me, woke to a sound no rancher should ever hear. Not coyotes, not a busted fence, but metal on stone, sharp and mean. It sliced right through the cold Montana night, and it sliced right through me. I bolted up in bed, breath caught, heart thumping, waiting for it again. There it was, louder, rocks splintering, tools clanging, voices hushed but hard. Before my mind even caught up, my body was moving. Years working dam engineering, you learn to recognize when something built to last is under attack. But nothing prepared me for the sight of men trying to break the bridge my father and I restore by hand. The one connecting our cabin to the upper trail, a Depression-era stone bridge, 80 years old and tough as the men who built it. Now it was under fire, floodlights blinding, dust everywhere, and the lake, usually black and peaceful, just reflecting chaos. I hustled down the gravel path, flashlight gripped tight, boots chewing up the ground. When I broke through the trees, it hit me in the gut. 5 men in vests and hard hats, swinging sledgehammers at the old bridge. Slabs already cracking, one chunk floating in the water. And there, standing perfectly composed in the work lights, was Bethany Crowell, president of the Lakeshore View HOA. Designer jacket, clipboard, looking like she just walked out of a boardroom, not a demolition site. I let my voice carry. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? Workers froze, out of instinct, not respect. Bethany just turned, all corporate smiles. Good morning, Mr. Carter. We're addressing a community safety concern. My jaw clenched. That bridge isn't your concern. It's on my land. She lifted her clipboard like a badge. Your structure negatively affects the aesthetics and navigation flow of the shared lake. The board approved emergency removal. I stepped closer, glare hard. You don't have jurisdiction. You crossed onto my property with a demo crew at 3 in the morning. She gave the tiniest shrug. Early work avoids disrupting residents. Your parcel borders our community waterway, which places your antiquated footbridge under review. Another swing, stone cracked and splashed into the lake. My hands balled to fists. Years dealing with federal inspectors taught me, don't act angry, act smart. Remember everything. Document everything. Win with paper, not fists. Still, the fury just climbed up my spine. My dad's voice echoed in my mind. This bridge will outlast me, Jake. Take care of it. And these newcomers, they treated it like yard waste. I gritted out, turn the machines off now. Bethany never flinched. This is already in progress. You're welcome to file a complaint with the HOA board. I'm not in your damn HOA. Oh, I know, she said, almost smiling. That's why this is so much simpler. The center span gave way with a moan and collapsed, soaking a worker's boots. Water rippled, swallowing 80 years of work, family, memory. Something cold settled in my chest. I stared at the floating debris, feeling the weight of what they'd just destroyed. I told her, low and calm, you just made a mistake you don't understand. She just stared, maybe a flicker of doubt in her eyes. I didn't argue. I just turned back toward my cabin, memorizing every face, every license plate, every inch of equipment. This wasn't just vandalism. This was war, and they'd fired the first shot. By sunrise, I'd been pacing for hours, anger fused to my ribs. Why destroy a bridge on land they didn't own? I found a stack of envelopes at my gate, 12, all from the HOA. Unsafe structure, demolition order, environmental hazard, cease and desist. All claiming authority they didn't legally have. All dated in the last 36 hours. A white SUV rolled up, HOA logo gleaming. 2 contractors stepped out, strangers, clipboard wielding, all business. "We're here for the structural assessment of the collapsed footbridge," one said. "It didn't collapse," I shot back. "You knocked it down." He barely blinked. Per HOA File 47C, the structure failed during the night, posing risk to adjacent properties. I step in close. Adjacent properties start 200 yards past my fence. And "I'm not in your HOA." The other scribbled without looking up. "We've been instructed to document hazards regardless of membership status." Who gave the order? Marcus Hale, lead developer and infrastructure consultant. Never heard of him, but I'd be learning his name. The SUV pulled away after a useless round of photos and notes. Then, Sheriff Morales rolled up. He knew the area, knew me, knew the bridge. "Morning, Jake. We got another call from the HOA. Claimed your bridge was a public safety emergency." I pointed at the lake. "That bridge was on my land, Sheriff." Morales shook his head. "They're filing paperwork faster than I can close cases." "Paper storm, Jake. Be careful. They play bureaucratic chess, bury folks in filings until they give up." "Why all this trouble?" I asked. He hesitated, then told me off the record, "They want your shoreline. Something about a new dock expansion for the resort. Maybe both. Document everything." When he left, I spread those HOA notices across the table, looking for a pattern. Every single one had Bethany's signature, and a second one, Marcus Hale. Knock on the door. Tom Bennett, neighbor, old friend, looked tired. Saw the lights last night. Didn't think they'd actually do it. I asked him why. "You're the last holdout on this side. Marcus pressures folks until the land feels like a burden. First paperwork, then inspectors, then lawsuits. Most people fold. I didn't sell because I got nothing left to lose. You, your land, your access, that's what they want." This started before the bridge, I realized. Tom nodded. "It's coordinated. Losing the bridge hurt. Losing the land would be a death blow." "I'm not selling," I said. Tom gave me a look. "Then get ready. Marcus thinks persistence is the same thing as ownership. Let them try. Don't underestimate them. They make you question your own rights." I locked every HOA notice in a binder. Engineering habit. But this wasn't an engineering problem. It was a siege. When Tom left, the lake felt too quiet, like it was holding its breath. Mid-morning, I went back to the bridge. Crew was gone, but their footprints and sledge pits remained. I found a bolt, one of Dad's from the last rebuild. Unsheared, unsnapped. It had been loosened with tools days before. Somebody prepped the bridge to fail. As I crouched, a drone buzzed overhead, camera aimed right at me. HOA sticker on the belly. I filmed it, then turned toward the dam. Fresh tire tracks, not mine, ATV-sized, right up to the restricted area. The dam grill was bent outward, pried by tools, another bolt nearby, not original. They were trying to manufacture hazards. Footsteps behind me. Sheriff Morales again, responding to another HOA call. Now they claimed I was tampering with water structures. Morales checked the scene. 3 sets of footprints, none mine. "They want control of your shoreline," I said. "If that's true, that's serious," he replied. "They escalate." Back at the cabin, I added photos, timestamps, every scrap to the binder. That night, unease pressed in. Across the lake, resort lights shimmered on still water. A pontoon boat drifted by, 2 figures mapping my shoreline. They weren't just sabotaging. They were surveying what they intended to take. Couldn't sleep. Kept seeing the sabotage, the lies. They were building a paper case. Unsafe, neglected, hazardous, all to force me out. By late morning, I was in my dad's old storage room. opening the safe he'd taught me to use as a kid. Bundles of papers, ledgers, old survey maps, receipts. Then, a sealed envelope. Jake, don't open unless they come for what's ours. Inside, federal documents, 1942, Perpetual Water Control Authority for the Carter family. Preempts all future organizations. Mandatory access, including the bridge. My jaw dropped. This wasn't leverage. This was a nuclear option. Called Sarah Whitfield, land use lawyer, trusted friend. She arrived, read the permit, eyes wide. Jake, this isn't just a permit. This is permanent federal authority. The HOA has no legal standing. If they touched anything, it's a federal crime. The sabotage, the destruction, the fake hazard reports, it all made sense now. The bridge was legally protected dam access. Demolition was criminal. Sarah's voice was tight. We're not just fighting. We're dismantling their case. Don't let them know what you have. Not yet. With a new fire in my gut, I read Dad's margin note. If the HOA tries to control the lake, remember, they can't control what they don't own. I finally understood. The water, the dam, the shoreline, it was all mine to defend. Sunday morning, I checked the dam, all intact, still old but solid. The permit didn't just give me authority, it required me to regulate for safety. So I adjusted the release, documented everything, and waited. Over the next days, the lake quietly dropped. Not dangerously, just enough for the HOA's grand dock plans to sink in the mud. Tom screenshot the HOA Facebook meltdown. Why is the water low? Fishing dock unusable. Who's responsible? HOA sent out statements blaming unknown influences, hinting the Carter Dam was unsafe. I took photos, gathered screenshots, built my binder thicker. But I also noticed new footprints, dress shoes, not boots, inspecting the shoreline mapping. Marcus's gold-banded cigarette, but told me he was watching. By Thursday, the HOA patrol boat got bold, shouting accusations. I just held up the binder. Morales came again, this time almost laughing at the permit. You're playing the smart, Jake. Bethany won't go quietly. I'm counting on it. That night, HOA called an emergency meeting at the community center. Bethany, perfect suit, icy glare, tried to pin everything on me. But Sheriff Morales cut her off. I opened the binder, projected the permit, played footage of the 3 a.m. demolition, the trespassing, the sabotage. Gasps, then angry shouts from the crowd. Sarah stepped forward. It's all authentic. The Carter family has exclusive authority. Morales handed Bethany the evidence bag. You ordered unlicensed demolition, filed false reports, trespassed, intimidated. You're not leaving until I finish this investigation. Handcuffs closed. Bethany sputtered. The room erupted. Marcus tried to slip out. State investigators were waiting. Fraudulent submissions, forged signatures, misused HOA dues. Power shifted. For the first time, I wasn't outnumbered. I was in control. Tom asked me what happens next. Court happens. Accountability happens. And I rebuild my bridge. Outside, Sarah reminded me, Monday's hearing would be the real test. The community was reeling, but the tide had turned. In court, the HOA tried to stick to their script. Their new lawyer argued unsafe structure, intimidation by water manipulation, asked for dam control. But Sarah's calm unraveled them. The judge reviewed the 1942 permit, then dropped the hammer. Emergency order vacated. HOA referred to the Attorney General for fraud and harassment. Deputies brought Bethany in, shackled and raging, but she wasn't a threat anymore. The hearing ended, the judge telling me to restore the lake and rebuild the bridge. Outside, the sun felt warmer, the fight moving from survival to victory. That afternoon, with Sarah documenting, I restored the lake. Iron wheel groaning, water surging back to life. By evening, word spread. The HOA had voted to dissolve. A handful of neighbors, Tom, Dr. Vasquez, Morales, gathered at the dam, some apologizing, others offering to help rebuild. The mayor even drafted a historic preservation order. My bridge, now protected forever. 3 days later, Tom and I reset the first stones. Neighbors watched quietly, kids asking why. Because it always belonged here, their father answered. A week after, the new HOA board placed a plaque. Carter Bridge, built 1942, reborn 2024, protected in perpetuity. Even Marcus's old attorney showed up, envelope in hand. Restitution, first of several. You earned it. Money won't bring back what was stolen, but it'll help the land heal. One golden morning, I walked the new bridge alone, hand on the rail, water sparkling below. You don't win with anger, I said, as if Dad could hear me. You win with truth, paper, and patience. Out here, the water remembers who was here first. Justice, dignity, and legacy restored. If you've ever had to stand your ground against someone who tried to take what was yours, let me know in the comments. Just drop a simple yes. And if you believe stories like this matter, hit subscribe and stick around. There are plenty more fights for truth and land waiting on the horizon.